Homelander is one of the greatest villains of all time. His ruthlessness, cunning, and unpredictability elevate the boys to new heights. One thing people might not appreciate when watching is the deep understanding of psychology in all the characters. Huey is constantly gaslit by fanaticism. He exists in a universe where heroes are seen as gods, but he understands them for what they truly are. Kimiko and Frenchie demonstrate the positive impacts of empathy and uplifting social resources. They support each other when experiencing sadness. Although the best psychological depiction is the main man himself. While Homelander is easy to hate, he's ultimately a victim. Born into a callous existence, he develops narcissistic personality disorder. We have the benefit of being audience members, but some symptoms can be hard to recognize in real life. Anytime a major event happens, Homelander finds a way to include himself, but spin the narrative to involve the people. He gets positive feedback from the audience, while they falsely assume they are protected. The etiology of NPD describes a pretty one-to-one experience for Homelander. Neglect and abuse are real problems that can destroy a person's psychology. Jennette McCurdy's experiences in Nickelodeon are a real-life equivalent of Homelander's exploitation, feeling like an unloved tool instead of a human being worthy of respect. So today, I want to break down this tragic villain psychology. Also, I'll deconstruct how the boys can spread meaningful awareness about abuse. Homelander is one of the most sympathetic characters in The Boys. Emotionally neglected from birth, never shown real love or sympathy. The only investment others have in him are his abilities. His powers were the only thing he received recognition for. Unlike some of the other characters, the leader of the Seven genuinely believes he is a god, and he has to. Dealing with his pain without any real social resources is more than he can handle. People who have narcissistic personality disorder tend to use denial as a coping mechanism. Rather than admit he was born into a world indifferent to his existence, Homelander overcompensates. Taking on the identity of a higher being helps him rationalize the abuse he suffered. Once he finds out about the true nature of his upbringing, we can see his ego cracking. We have the luxury of seeing behind the veil, but the crowd's confusion shows how difficult narcissism can be to deal with. Without our additional insight, Homelander appears to be for the people. Part of what makes him so dangerous is his ability to manipulate the narrative. When he let the plane crash, he framed the incident as an attack and how he would get justice. People sing his praises because he makes a compelling case without all the information. This is but one example. Many of the symptoms of narcissistic personality disorder come out of Homelander at different points in time. Having a sense of entitlement and requiring constant excessive admiration. Taking advantage of others to get what they want. Having an inability or unwillingness to recognize the needs and feelings of others. Reacting with rage or contempt to make themselves appear superior. Contextualizing the reasons for a personality disorder requires a deep understanding of mental health. Why is Homelander so distrusting? Why is he so fixated on love from people who don't care about him? Paranoia is often prevalent for those who have NPD, but understanding why this suspicion manifests is important. Everyone uses the golden boy for their own gain. Stormfront wants to spread the seeds of white nationalism. Madeline Stillwell ensures he's useful to the company. Existing in this environment would make anyone paranoid. Even Vought covers up the fact that he's a father. No one cares about his humanity or needs. Contextualizing his experiences is important in building empathy. Narcissistic people aren't those we should demonize, rather help them receive proper treatment. One moment in The Boys Season 3 shows us the man behind the mask. The mirror scene is a psychological masterpiece in TV storytelling. Rather than demonstrate his narcissism through dialogue and interactions, his ego takes physical form. Even though Homelander acts in a hostile manner, on some level, he cares about humanity. Just like every one of us, the neglected child simply wants love from those around him. Socializing, especially at an early age, is crucial to our development. As children, we learn what's acceptable and what's harmful. Not to mention, we see the ramifications of our actions. So as we accrue life experience, we build empathy towards those around us. Homelander wasn't afforded this luxury, so he's emotionally stunted. That's why he drinks breast milk, and the reason he's so upset by Madeline's baby. He longs for a mother's love, to truly understand any form of kindness, not all these fake gestures with expectations attached. Now that we've covered Homelander's narcissism, let's talk about why his character is important. Mental health is a topic that isn't discussed enough in mainstream media. Marvel characters usually have an emotional journey they overcome in a single sitting. Although how realistic is this depiction? People have serious mental health struggles that can impact them for their entire life. Someone narcissistic can not only hurt themselves, but also the ones they care about. Homelander's character shows these outcomes in real time. Many cult leaders sell themselves as a god in a similar fashion. The Boys often blurs the line between fiction and reality, from mentioning figures like Chris Hansen to recreating Kendall Jenner's cringe Pepsi ad. Approaching a series in this way can help the audience further invest in the premise. Grounded depictions of real-life events and mental health also spread awareness in a lasting way. Jennette McCurdy had her happiness destroyed in her youth from dealing with a narcissistic mother. Rather than consider her daughter's well-being, she exploited her child to elevate her ego. Narcissism is real. It needs to be dealt with so situations like this can be avoided. Another problem I have in media is the glorification of negative elements of psychology. Death Note is a masterclass psychological work littered with problematic elements. Light is narcissistic, but not for the same reasons as Homelander. He didn't lack meaningful social resources or access to a quality environment. A Shinigami who kills simply because he's bored. Light's impact as a character is severely diminished as a result. Homelander, by contrast, forces us to empathize with him. Even if he's your most hated character, there's no denying his origin is soul-crushing. No love or attention, just painful test after test. A genuinely sweet kid becomes a ruthless killer from neglect and abuse. The Boys writers take their time to cultivate our resentment, only to shine a new perspective in Season 3. Empathizing with someone who acted maliciously is not the same as justifying an action. Understanding allows us to quell our hatred and open our hearts. Homelander and Jennette McCurdy have striking parallels in their stories, but important key differences. In a lot of ways, their behaviors are similar. They both pretend to make others happy without valuing themselves, putting on a fake smile while crying on the inside. Although the key difference is one person was impacted by narcissism, while the other is a narcissist. But the important question is why? What about their lived experiences puts them on drastically different life paths? The answer is something we've been talking about in this entire video. Empathy. Jennette was lucky to have amazing people in her life like Miranda Cosgrove. When the entire world ignored Sam's pain, Carly was there to give her a hug. Unlike Jennette McCurdy, Homelander has no real friends, which to be fair is super understandable. Who wants to be around someone who acts aggressive, threatening, and manipulative? Empathizing with a person like this is a daunting task, but one of great importance. Empathy doesn't work as a one-way street. If we want others to show us charity, we must be willing to extend our hand as well. Compound V is thought to be the ultimate weapon in the show, granting those who survive access to incredible powers. Although reality tells a different story. The more power they accrue, the less human they become. As their egos run rampant, they ultimately lose the ability to empathize. Jennette McCurdy found inner peace despite perilous circumstances because she had a friend, which really makes you think, what good could Homelander accomplish with just a little love? Thanks for checking out this video. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to hit that like and sub button. Homelander's character takes a meaningful look into how narcissistic personality disorder manifests. Plus, The Boys shows the impacts of neglect in real time. Mental health awareness is so important. Having social resources in times of need can change our life in a meaningful fashion. Can you empathize with Homelander?